Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. So, today is Wednesday, December 27th, and that means we're still kind of recovering from Christmas. It worked pretty well to skip over the Americas account in total and come back and cheat. So, for instance here, since I only need to get two things done, getting a victory with the Warlock and playing Enraged cards, for the most part that can be cheated, except for the fact that we have a Tavern Brawl. This is very possibly a Tavern Brawl a lot of people will skip. I don't imagine too many people are playing Hearthstone as much, but maybe they are. If my YouTube channel is to be any example, I'm getting more subscribers this week than ever before. Ever draw a spell you really needed a minion? Never again. The deck is 30 Raven Idols, so you'll be able to discover whatever you need. Alright, so Warlock victory. We'll try this. We'll try the Tavern Brawl on the Americas account, but then I think we'll just, for the most part, skip over to the European and Asian accounts. There's not much news still, and I imagine that's going to be the case for. I guess there's no reason to switch them if it really is just 30 cards of Raven Idol. So what would I do if I'm looking for Enrage minions? I should take minions, and there we go. This is a slower starting Tavern Brawl because on the first and second turn you're almost certainly not going to be able to play anything. Yeah, very, very little news, and I think we'll probably go into the post-show. I don't have much to talk about. I'm still playing Evil Within. I'm enjoying it despite the fact that it is very much not standing up to Resident Evil 4. Clearly the director of the Resident Evil series alone is not the only, like, he wasn't the only person on the team that made RE4 good. There was some other action within that. Simple things, particularly in Evil Within 1. Now, I hear Evil Within 2, while it gets further away from being like RE4, it is a better game. Because it's more of an open world game, where RE4 is clearly a straight point A to point B linear action shooter game with some cheesy characters. There's really no characters at all in the Evil Within 1. There's really not a lot of secrets and collectibles to find. The only thing there are statues that have keys in them, and that's kind of it. A great example is I came across a point where there was a waterfall and you couldn't even get to the waterfall to see if perhaps there was something behind it. Oh, we could play this. Why not? And then there's just been other instances where I did something that looked really cool and it just does not play Like, nothing happens. I'll get in an area and the area is completely empty. Which is just a little disappointing that there wouldn't be something there. There are some traditional things you kind of expect from video games just to exist. Let's see. If I can get this to play and keep this on the field, this will be interesting. Let's see. Question is, can I do this? Destroy a minion with 1 or less attack. The bullet inventory management in Evil Within is extremely tight. I would have a hard time imagining you would even be playing an action game if the bullet management was any tighter. At maximum upgrades, you can have maybe 20 bullets on the what is it? On the handgun, which is the most prevalent thing. The crossbow gun, potentially, I suppose you might have infinite numbers of crossbow bolts if you just go pull the crossbow bolts out of the enemies after you kill them, but there's only 4 you can have in an inventory at a time, and it takes so long to pull back the bowstring and shoot that I'd have to upgrade that thing to the point where it was almost an instant fire as fast as a handgun for that to make sense. So we got back much later in the game. I've gotten back to a situation where it was easier just to run from this enemy boss that kept infinitely spawning until you got to a specific point where a cutscene kills it, instead of fighting it, even though every time you fought it and killed it temporarily, it was giving you a decent amount of green goo, which is what is used to upgrade your abilities. It's just not worth the time. Let's see, we need spells. Deal 2 damage. Wow. Well, it seems like our opponent here wasn't really having much fun with that, and I can't say I really blame him, so we're done with that. Which is, I'll take that as a holiday gift and move on. In fact, I'm starting to think maybe I should just start on the European accounts going forward, since I'm going to heavily use my secondary account to cheat the main account anyways. Then if somebody comes on the chat and brings me back to the America's account, then that'll be fine too. And disenchant that for 100. Let's see. I don't think on this account I have things I'm missing that I'd want to make. Well, maybe I do. Maybe it is just time to start making some things. Well, I am missing things, aren't I? So let's make an epic. Which epic would we want to make? We could get rid of Shaman right there. And it's an overlaid card, so there we go. And so slowly with piles of 400 dust we can get rid of these epics and get down to the point where we're only missing 6 legendary neutral cards and, well, only 2 legendary regular cards. And at a certain point we might just start looking at trying to get things like this crafted, because I could have easily made 4 of these rare things that I'm missing, and there's, I'm sure, plenty of rare things that we're still missing. Of course, I thought I was also saving up for pirate cards. Oh well, I don't need to spend too much time looking at that. So yeah, give myself 2 more victories with the Warlock, play 10 Enrage cards. That's what we'll do probably in the post show. Let's switch over to the European, because we've got another Tavern Brawl to do. Now Tavern Brawl is on the European and Asian account. More difficult. Because I really am going to have to struggle through them. And there's really nothing I can do with it. I have been trading things out, but the trades have not been going well. So Shaman cards are clearly what I should play here. And so we'll choose the Shaman, play, and go. I want to make a promise at the end of the year and talk about how I'm going to try and avoid going on the same rants over and over again and stop getting frustrated and baited by some of the awful mainstream video game coverage. I want to make that promise. I want to get better, but I'm not sure I'm actually capable of doing it. So it's really gonna be one of those New Year's resolutions things. Like I very well could just ignore the parts that are stupid and annoying that sometimes come up and get brought up and shoved into the video game coverage, and just refuse to talk about it. But I'm not sure that's the right move. Like, it surely isn't worth my breath, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure I can stay silent. I'm not sure I should stay silent. And if you don't know what I'm talking about how the mainstream video game people have more and more, I've come to realize, succumbed to groupthink. Like there's a great quote you could really quote mine, the Giant Bombcast over the last year, or just in their Game of the Year deliberations, where I believe Brad says this is not a democracy, and they refuse to vote on what they want to give Game of the Year for that category, or who they want for that category to win, when clearly after an hour or two it should just come down to a vote and it should be a democracy. But they know, or I guess Brad knew or thought at the time that if it did come down to a vote, his pick wouldn't win, which is ridiculous. Of course, like a direct popular vote also isn't always used in U.S. politics either. We have the whole electorate and electoral votes and things, which is ridiculous. I would argue, sure, since they're trying to make footage, that maybe they shouldn't instantly decide to vote, because then it would be too quick and people wouldn't have said their piece. But after an hour, just get it over with. The whole Game of the Year thing is just, for Giant Bomb in particular, is everybody in the same room trying to convince everybody to sort of kind of agree on something. And more I've realized that's not what I want in a critic. Like, I don't want 1,000 movie critics all saying the exact same thing about the newest movie. That doesn't really help anything or even inform me. And let's see. I guess I need to play more spells.
More training?
And frankly, there was at least one conversation so far, and I'm only on the second day of the Beastcast Game of the Year deliberations, where one of Abby, no offense to her, tried to describe why she liked the game, and slipped into unintentionally not giving any details about it. Perhaps to avoid spoilers, and so she was just kind of making an emotional play. She's like, "It was so good, I loved it, and it was great. It was so awesome." I'm like, "Come on, give some details. You're trying to explain things, and you're a video game critic, or you're supposed to be at least, or they think you're supposed to be. I'm not even sure. You should be more descriptive than that." Let's go ahead and play this. And so, yeah, I guess I am ranting about what I'm saying. I'm going to try to not rant about it. Or at the very least, I'm going to try to be more informative, more descriptive than that. It's groupthink. It's groupthink that often falls into extremely liberal policies that even somebody who, like me, who was at one time considered himself to be extremely liberal, no longer can agree with. And none of it really has anything to do with video games, and it's getting crammed into conversations. Laura Kate Dale is a reporter who basically, it seems like she does nothing but cram liberal concepts, SJW concepts, into her articles. Very clickbaity too. Let's see. In most of her articles, it seems. I can talk about a few things as far as news. There's a game called Mighty Gunvolt Burst that's getting 1.3 update that on December 28th. Not sure specifically why I chose this. It's a Switch game. It looks like it might only be in Japan. Looks like an 8-bit platformer, frankly. Definitely getting a lot more Japanese support for the Switch. Yeah, this game looks a lot like a take on Mega Man, but much faster with more of an ability to deal damage. But it is the platforming and ladder climbing you would expect from a Mega Man game. Which, having recently looked at Mega Man games, a modern take on it that's still trying to do the same thing wouldn't be a bad idea. Although, I kind of think that if I was to do Mega Man, I'm probably the worst person ever to be in charge of redoing a Mega Man story. I would take the general concept of there being 8 enemies and then maybe 8 more enemies and then the final boss, and I would turn that into 16 very linear 3D levels, much more story focused. Like, you might even do something as extreme as a Telltale game, like, based on that concept. I probably don't understand the full range of why it's important to have the platforming levels in front of the different enemies with different attacks. I, on the surface, think I kind of understand that there's at least this idea of every level being potentially a lot easier if you have a certain ability, but I'm not sure that really even gets integrated into most Mega Man games. But I'm talking more about Mighty Gunvolt Burst, a game I don't think has come over to the West. Or it's on the eShop and... The update adds downloadable content characters from Mighty Number 9, Azure Striker, Gunvolt, and Corona from Gun Gal. So this must be like a Capcom game or something. They're just adding characters from kind of random games. Let's see. Well, I don't know if this really is news, but we're kind of strapped for news today. Again, I'm gonna need to look at my calendar and make sure today is Wednesday. Yeah, today is Wednesday, and there's just no news. This Gamatsu, which I should look up Famitsu and see if there's an English version of that, but I don't think there is. That was one of the news sources I was thinking about trying to find. Discover an overload card, and then we'll do that. Let's see. Oh man, I didn't know you could do this unstable evolution forever. Interesting. So yeah, Gamatsu has some new pictures of the 7 Deadly Sins, Knights of Britannia. It's just some pictures of the main characters of that Netflix anime sort of thing. The first season wasn't too bad. The second season was very short and seemed to add nothing to it. And that's one of the rare animes I even have watched in the past 5 years. Probably because it was on Netflix. Abduction number 11 just aired on my channel. I'm looking at the Twitter again just to see if there's anything new. Gosh, there's nothing. Just nothing. Volcano do. Let's see. So yeah, there's no news. I'm still working on and thinking about buying video games. There's quite a few days. I believe the Steam sale ends on the 4th of December, January. So you have plenty of time. The only thing is that there's some wild swings on buying trading cards, and if you buy trading cards right now and make badges, you get more trading cards for the summer sale thing, which gets that badge higher, which gets you more levels. Theoretically, getting more level gets you more booster packs, which gets you more levels. It's not actually really that accurate that happens, because you very rarely at level 58, that's where I am, there's very rarely, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, have I gotten any booster packs. But since I'm a YouTuber, and since they limit the number of friends you can have by the level you're on, I want to have more friends. Of course, I could just fix this if I just made a curator group and instead had everybody join the curator group instead of actually friend me, but I'm not ready to quite do that. Let's see. So yeah, a significant part of the reason why I want to buy games on the sale, other than to get the games, which is the #1 reason, is to just do it so I can get trading cards and fill out badges, which I'm so deeply entangled in that scam. It's ridiculous. And at some point, Valve has to undo all of that. At some point, it's just going to say you can have as many friends as you want, and then it's going to make it really pointless. So then, next article we have here, of the very few articles, I should stop complaining about the little bit of news and just be happy I'm getting a bit of a break. There's a new Senran Kagura called Senran Kagura Burst Renewal Daidoji and Rin. Has a level 1 secret ninja art gameplay video. Senran Kagura is kind of a slightly inconsistent game series where the gameplay style could be almost anything, but the main contributing factor is going to be that there's a bunch of anime ninja girls in it. And there's 2 trailers here. In this game, it looks like it's kind of a Dynasty Warriors beat 'em up style game. I've never done enough research to see if any of those style games actually play well, though. Sadly, with the adpocalypse, it's questionable that I could even play this game. Like, there's really nothing on these trailers that would be too advertiser unfriendly, but I'm still not sure I should go down that road. Even if I was just to say, forget it, I don't care about ad revenue at all, which I don't know how I'd be able to say that. I'd have to have lots of Patreons and just get to the point where I could turn off ads. Apparently this game is a remake. It's due out on the PlayStation 4 in February 22nd in Japan. So we'll see if it comes up to PC. Otherwise I won't really have to consider it at all. How did I lose there? What in the world happened there? He must have done an eye for an eye or something, and I literally haven't been paying enough attention. I was thinking about doing a video, a top 5 reasons why you always lose at Hearthstone, and just talk about the reasons why I lose. Because I know the reasons. It's like, I don't have the cards. I don't understand what the cards do. I don't pay attention. I don't play enough. And number 1, I don't spend money. So there's the top 5 reasons right there. Oh, I don't spend enough money on car. Which, not spending money is also kind of don't having the cards. Eurogamer has gotten very ambitious here. Top 50 games of 2017, and they seem they're gonna break it up into multiple articles. So I'm not sure if all of those are out right now. Let's see. I'm just gonna do all spells to make sure I play everything. So number 50, Golf Story. Number 49, Gorgoa. This is literally gonna be every game they covered this year. Number 48, Stories Untold. Number 47, Persona 5. Number 46, XCOM 2, War of the Chosen. Number 45, Yakuza 0. 44, Polybius? I thought Polybius was a joke game that doesn't really exist. Well, they're listing it there, so maybe somebody actually made a game named Polybius. Number 43, Pro Evolution Soccer. 2018, 42, Star Trek Bridge Crew. 41, Pyre. And then that's the end of the article. I suppose it's possible that you could cheat your way into that and throughout a year have set up a system in which you were always ranking the games. I'm not sure specifically how much of that would matter or why you would want to rank all the games or how you compare something like Pro Evolution Soccer to Nier Automata, since they're completely different games. Let's see. they have also put out 40 through 39. So number 40 is Sniper Elite 4. 39 is Lawbreakers. 38 is Call of Duty World War II. I mean, in all honesty, you may just have an Excel sheet where which of these games paid us more or made us more money in ad revenue. 37 Everything, 36 Nier Automata. So there's your touchstone for me. If 36 is Nier Automata, then there has to be 35 more games that came out this year better than Nier Automata, and that seems completely unrealistic. 35 is Neo, 34 is Observer, and like already you can see these games don't measure up, and they're completely different. But even at that, there's some obvious things that don't measure up. 34 Last Day in June, 33 Last Day in June, 32 Fortnite, and 31 Horizon Zero Dawn. And while I might see why somebody would pick Horizon Zero Dawn over Nier Automata, I can't for the life of me believe any of the games in between number 36 and number 31 deserve to be there. And that's as far as that list has gone, but that's really ridiculous. Really ridiculous to try to have a list that big. That's why you should create categories. The Game Awards had similar problems where you're giving out Game of the Year awards to 5 games that were nominated when there's, in any given year in video games, there's enough room to have a Game of the Year shooter category, Game of the Year action adventure category, Game of the Year storytelling category. Like there's enough to make 3 or 4 categories every single year, even in a slow year. Let's see, Wind Fury. Next article I have is a game called Kaji Steel Beam Crossing of Despair for the Switch. This is coming out December 28th in Japan and probably not in the United States. I'm watching the trailer now. It's literally people walking across steel beams, kind of like a Ninja Warrior style game. So there's a platform and people are walking across it kind of in groups. And I guess the Joy-Con element is what you would be using to balance. So I imagine the player is using the Joy-Con to move forward. Wow. That is so not a game at all. It's just like a tech demo. And somebody somewhere got a t-shirt that says, "What would Guybrush Threepwood do?" from Monkey Island. I was hoping I could figure out at some point where that came from. It doesn't seem to be an official like Double Fine thing, but maybe it is. I know Double Fine retweeted it, but they didn't give any indication that they were available for purchase. So if they are available for purchase, they did a very poor job explaining that. There we go. And let's see. That puts us at the Humble Store. And Let's see. We've got a Judge Dredd comic book bundle. I'm not exactly sure. This doesn't look like all the old Judge Dredds, first of all. This looks like new ones. And I'm not exactly sure that people would be super fans of reading the comic books of Judge Dredd if they're coming from either one of the movies that were made. Yeah, I can't fully think that you kind of have to be into some hardcore comics in the first place. So even if you were a fan of Superman or Batman and Marvel or DC comics, I don't think that is quite good enough to ensure that you would be into Judge Dredd, because Judge Dredd is rather extreme. It's like heavy metal, as I understand it, and who knows how much of it I really understand. Might be none. Just gotta play something. Just play something here. Like, Luke Gaming is retweeting a fan-made remake of Donkey Kong 2 Bramble Blast level. I think I've seen this already. I was watching a documentary about how Donkey Kong 1 was made and how they had basically CGI graphics rendered, and then they had to run it through a converter to tone down 3D CG graphics to something that looks good and is actually displayable on a Super NES hardware, which implies that if Nintendo were to want it to happen, you could probably come out with a new remake of Donkey Kong Country on the Switch and it would look amazingly good. I think that could happen. More than most games. Yeah, well, I just lost. And yes, there is just no news going on. And nobody's on the chat, and that's exactly what I thought Christmas would be like. So I'm kind of confused as to why it happened a couple days after Christmas instead of Christmas Day, but whatever. I was pretty sure at some point this whole week is going to be slow. Well, at least I played a decent amount of Shaman cards. So, in the post-show, I'll need to struggle to get some Shaman victories and play some more Shaman cards and get one Tavern Brawl done. And then I'll cheat on the Americas account. Let's switch over to the Asian account and just see what we're going to do. And then I think we'll just go into the post-show. We've been going 45 minutes and nobody's online, and there's not a lot to do. I need to probably confess and cleanse my soul as it is. I many times say I love it when I have more time so I can go play more of whatever game I'm playing, in this case The Evil Within. But the truth is, more often than not, even when I do end early, I get busy into doing something that's not recording. So, Warlock Death Rattle cards. We need to play 5 games with the Warlock or the Shaman and win. That's going to be a struggle. But if we overlap and the Warlock, we could get these 2 done, which is not what you'd ideally want to do, but whatever. Either I do that or I just play a lot of Shaman today. So yeah, a lot of times I do say I'm glad to have that extra time to play a different game, but I should be more honest and say I'm glad to have the extra time on days that I stream Hearthstone to just take a break and make Hearthstone try to be the day that I take off, so I can feel more energized the next day when I start playing things. Wow, and Tragic Master just came on the chat saying happy holidays, hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you, you too. This is where I'm gonna end it for the post-game play. It's just gonna be some struggle to get the 2 daily quests done on each of the accounts, and once that's done, we'll be done. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.